under Commanding General Yahanna, started out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We are not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite school, camp, faction, whatever you want to call it. We are the home of the truth. If it is not of the I.S.U.P.K, it is not of the truth. With that said, tonight's topic is these streets ain't loyal, but the laws of God are. Before we get started with tonight's class, I like to go over the itinerary so that everyone knows what's going on for the week. Monday is our biblical history class. Tuesday is our biblical brotherhood class. Wednesday, which is tonight, is our biblical law class. Thursday is our scripture breakdown class, which the majority of the time is led by not Commanding General Yahanna, but General Muhammad Salakia. Friday is our Lasha 1 Quadash class, Hebrews 101, our original language. Saturdays, of course, is our Sabbath class. After we have our Sabbath class is from 12 to 1. After we have our Sabbath class, we then go to Atlanta on 1 Peachtree Street downtown to go out there and fish for our people, to go out there and teach our people these laws, statutes, and commandments, to tell them to come back into their culture. With that, before we get started, do we have anyone on the phone who has any questions? All right, do we have anyone online without questions? Excellent. We'll go ahead and get started. Once again, tonight's topic is going to be these streets ain't loyal, but the law of God is. The premise tonight, we're going to go into the rap game. We're going to discuss how it has played a major role in the killing of our people, in the killing of young black men. We're going to talk about how, as blacks and Hispanics, we glorify the death of our people in music. We're going to talk about how it definitely must be some sort of mental illness to make us believe and or think that to take the life of a brother is something that's supposed to be glorified, that it makes you a man, that it makes you hard, that it makes you tough, because it doesn't. To take a life of your brother is to be a coward. To take a life of your brother is to be weak. There's nothing hard about killing another man, about murdering another man. Shalom, Lord Christ, what's going on?
Shalom,
Shalom, Yahabashim, Absolutely, Tuwab. I'm Tuwab, ready to get into this thing. As I was saying before you called in, to let you know the topic of tonight's class is these streets ain't loyal, but the law of God is. What I want to do is touch on the topic of rap music, separating life, real life, and the reality of what it is from being a rapper. Now, there once was a time where there was rap music that came out and it had some meaning. You can go back to some of the old school rappers. Coming back in my time, I'm 46 years old, so I was listening to some of the older, I guess you could say, rap that more so had some sort of meaning to it. Not all of it, but a lot of times when we were coming into it, it was either about dancing or a good time with your people, and or something about knowledge, something about learning who you are. Well, it came a point when that wasn't acceptable, when the powers that be, meaning your Jewish record deals or record owners, they didn't want that particular music out. So at a certain point, it started to fall off. You had your people who were more of like a political type of rap, where you take your people like KRS-One. You could even go as far as like who else would you say that was considered someone who would rap about something positive? Any of the rap that was brought out where it wasn't glorifying the death of blacks and Hispanics is a plus for me. It's a plus for our people. But when go ahead, oh, absolutely, Public Enemy with Chuck D. Absolutely. You know, a lot of times they would come out with their political views and or just speaking up for the people. You know, come out with songs like Fight the Power. You know, so there was an understanding that we had back in the late 70s, early 80s, coming into the early 90s. I will say it was starting to fade out in the early 90s because there was a boom of music that was glorifying what it was to kill blacks and Hispanics. You can go back as early as NWA, Niggas with an Attitude. You may be able to go back to Ice-Cube with his song Cop Killer, which I'll actually go into the irony of that. There are many different rap groups that started to come out that only spoke on what it was to be whoremongers, that only spoke on what it was to have money, that only spoke on what it was to kill another man of their same race. And of course, when I say whoremongers, we'll get into that so you can get the understanding of a whoremonger, and you'll see that I'm talking about a pimp. But we'll get into that as we go ahead and continue with the class. Understanding that tonight's topic is heavy simply because we are embedded in hip-hop. The way we move, the way we think, the way we talk, the way we dress, the way we act, it all goes with each other. Whatever comes out with the music, it influences everyone. Even your oppressor, the young Edomites, are influenced by what we do. But the difference is, how many of your oppressors have music that glorify killing each other? That's the question that you want to ask yourself as I continue to go through this class. How many oppressors, and when I say oppressor, I'm going to put it out there, how many white boys and girls listen to music or have music that glorifies the killing of their own people? They don't. They wouldn't even allow that to be put out there on the radio waves. But when it comes to us, as long as we're talking about killing our own, as long as we're talking about selling drugs to our own, as long as we're talking about prostituting our own, then you can make millions. They're going to play you all day long, over and over and over again. The music industry is very sinister. It's designed to destroy us. But as I continue, one of the topics tonight that I'm going to go into is we're going to talk about trap music. We're going to talk about drill music. I want you to understand that I'm speaking specifically to Israel. I don't give a damn about Esau. I don't give a damn about any of these heathen nations. I'm only speaking to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. I want you to understand clearly that the music is impressionable, especially to the youth. One of the things that I realize and that I notice when I'm driving down the street, it could be in a particular area or not. Oftentimes, you'll understand what I'm talking about when I say this, is that you'll see young brothers with their Beats by Dre on, or whatever headphones, or whatever it is they're listening to. They're walking down the street. They could be by themselves, and you'll see them rapping the lyrics, talking about this, that, and the other, all alone, just feeding themselves and putting it out there about this, that, and the other. Whatever's hot, whatever's popular, and you can't even understand really what's being said, but they love it. They eat it up. It goes in their ear and it stays there. You know, when you were young, I know when I was young, my parents would say things to me like, "Oh, I guess you didn't hear what I had to say. It just went in one ear right out the other." That's not the case that's happening with this music. It's going in the ear and it's staying there. And not only is it staying there, they're acting it out. They're operating in the very same things that they're hearing in this music. We are glorifying and promoting the death of blacks and Hispanics. And I'm telling you, it's disgusting, it's foul, it's wicked. We must stop doing it. I'm speaking from an understanding that I used to be in the, how can I put it, in the streets, if you will. Now, I'll say this, don't let the proper speech, because most people say that he speaks like an Edomite, don't let that fool you with me. Because I came from a world of doing things that a lot of people haven't done. You know, I came here from Chicago. Not that Chicago is cool because of what they've done and what they're known for, but to give an understanding or premise on what we're speaking on, I'm just letting you know some of my background. I'm speaking on things that I know about. I'm speaking on things that I know will haunt you at the end of the day. Not that I'm talking about things that I've done, but anyone who has been out here in these streets and who has lived this life, you understand what I say when I tell you that it will haunt you. You'll think about the things that you've done. You won't stop thinking about the things that you've done or be haunted by the things you've done until you come into this truth. That's the only way that you're going to be able to come in and defeat those demons that continue to come at you about the things that you've done in your life. This music, what does it do? It reminds you. It reminds you of things that you used to do. Matter of fact, when I say used to do, I'm speaking of those who are now in the truth. But to those of you who are in the world, Salakia, did you put your phone on mute? For those of you who are in the world who still listen to this music and can't separate from the reality, the reality from the truth, or the reality from the lie, or the reality from the act, I want you to understand that this is very critical, because what you listen to, what you're letting your children listen to, it will affect them. I don't want to be too long-winded on that, but we're going to go into the topic. I'm going to let you know that the laws keep you alive. The laws teach you brotherhood. The laws teach you loyalty. The laws teach you how to deal with your brothers, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That's what the law does. Now, you heard me say brotherhood. This isn't the brotherhood class. This is the law class. But you can't have brotherhood without the law. Brotherhood without the law, guess what you are? You're a gang. That's what you are. Brotherhood without the law, you're just a brother who's waiting on that person to step on your foot that was close to you and decided on that day, I'm taking his life to show him I'm the hardest. Because you don't know that you don't kill your brother. You don't know that that's your family. You don't know who your people are. You don't know who you are. So understand, without the law, complete chaos and destruction is coming for you. There is no brotherhood without the law. You may have a gang, but guess what? That gang has no loyalty. That gang has no brotherhood. Because guess what? Gang members in the same gang kill their own people. Anyone who's lived in that life knows that if you're in a gang, that your life can be taken by the brother who's standing next to you, especially if there's a violation of some sort. So how can that be brotherhood? But the laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High gave us taught us that we aren't supposed to kill our brother. You don't take your brother's life because he said something, because he stepped on your foot, because he violated you. Who are you that you can be violated? Who are your feet that someone stepped on your shoes and you want to take their life? Who are you that someone bumped into you and you want to take their life? Who are you that someone said something that made you feel a certain type of way and you want to take their life? You're a bitch. You're a coward. That's what you are, Salakia. That's what you are. You're a coward. You're sensitive. You have no training. You don't have the ability to stop and think, to get out of your emotions. So you think, what am I going to do? I'm going to show this nigga. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to take his life. Does that make you hard? No. Does that make you strong? No. Does that make you a man? No, that makes you weak. That's what it does. Before I go any further, Salakia, do I have anyone else on the call? Shalom, Yahanna, what's going on, Aki Tawab? I'm Tawab. One second, let me get you down here. Alright, getting you down for attendance. But yeah, in case you didn't hear, letting you know that the topic of the class is these streets ain't loyal, but the laws of God are. And what I mean when I say that the laws of God are loyal, he tells us something specific in the scriptures. There are many things, that everything is specific and to the point. They're loyal in the fact that if you don't follow them, guess what? You will meet your end. But they're also loyal in the fact that if you do follow them, you will live. That is cut and dry. Follow these laws, statutes, and commandments and live. Don't follow them and die. And if I could, I'm going to go to a verse that we have to bring out every single law class. Give me the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1. The book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1. Shalom, Yahanna, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai Barakatah. What's going on, Ak? I'm Tawab. You Tawab, Ak? Excellent. Excellent. You already know my topic, but in case you didn't remember, the topic is these streets ain't loyal, but the laws of the Most High are. The laws of God are. Before I get started, we have 3 brothers on the call right now. Does anyone have any comments or any questions? All right, well, we'll keep going. My aim tonight is to open up the eyes of those of you who are watching this class who are not in the truth. For those of you who are in this truth, to hear something to keep you grounded, to keep you humbled in the sense of saying, if I do this or if I fall back, I could die. The reason why I say that is because if I were to go back into this world, the Most High would kill me. There's nothing else that I can do. He would have me destroyed. There's nothing I can do. I don't want anything of it. So there's nothing that I want of this world. There's nothing that I can do. There's nothing that will fulfill me. What use would I have to live? I want those of you who are in this truth to hear this and understand there is no turning back. Right now we're in the 4th quarter of this game and we got to ride it out. We have to endure until the end. But in that enduring, we have a responsibility to our people to go out there and let them know. So I'm letting the youth know. I'm letting you niggas that are 35, 40 know who still run the streets thinking that it's cool to be a thug, thinking that it's cool to be a gangster, thinking that it's cool to be an OG. I promise you that it's not. If you're not in this truth, you're not thug. If you're not in this truth, you're not gangster. If you're not in this truth, you're not hard. You're not an OG. You want to be an OG, come into this truth and endure. That makes you an OG. Come into this truth and endure what you have to go through as a trooper, what you have to go through as a 50, what you have to go through as a 500, and so on and so forth, for 1,000, 5,000, captain, on up to a general. Wow. You come in and you endure that, and then you'll be OG. If not, keep your goddamn mouth shut. You're weak. You're moving with nothing. You're doing nothing. If you don't believe that we are the OGs, come into this truth and try. Come into this truth and try to last. It's not made for everybody. It's not for everyone to come and do this. You want to find out if you're a man? You want to find out if you have what it takes? Come into this truth. Because I can promise you, any weak nigga behind a gun can pull a trigger. But guess what? It takes a man to put that gun down. It takes a man to repent and turn away from this world, to come into this truth and learn what it is to love your brother. Learn what it is to love your sister. Go ahead, out. Absolutely.
I remember when I was growing up, we would always say that coward had a gun because he was scared to fight. And he wanted to throw no hands. He was scared to take that L. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of cowards walking around here. And they pretend to be really bad and they women. But on the inside, they just, they don't care about it.
You're right. You're right. You have a lot of cowards walking around with guns. I mean, I come into this era. I was raised up in the era where you would throw your hands for sure. It was nothing to throw your hands, and it would be, as they have the saying now, it's on sight. There was not a bunch of talking. Matter of fact, there was no talking. If you knew there was an issue, we're about to get to it. You had no time for the jaw jacking. And not that that's cool. Understand that that's not cool. But guess what? As they would say, you will live to fight another day. Because if you had to throw your hands, then you threw your hands. But now, you got a lot of young brothers. A lot of young brothers out here who are trying to get a name for themselves. A lot of young brothers out here who are absolute animals. They're absolute lunatics. And I don't mean that in a cool way. I don't mean that like you're hard, like you're something to be feared. I mean that in the sense that I'm sad for you. I mean that in the sense that I hurt for you because you're weak. That's what you are. You think that it's cool, or you think that it's hard to go and pull the trigger, blow another man's brains out, and then go make a song about it. Then go rap about it and brag about it to your people. Guess what? You're doing the goddamn job for your oppressor. You're already in bondage by your oppressor. But understand this. Your oppressor has you in bondage, but now you are also in bondage in making your own people in bondage twice. So you're in bondage by the oppressor, and then you're putting your own people in bondage. Why? Because they don't even want to come out their house. They want to stay home. They don't want their kids to come out because they don't know what will happen to them. They don't know if their life will just be taken by some straight bullet because some dumb, weak, sad nigga is trying to do a drive-by or just shoot somebody who doesn't know what he's doing. So the oppressor has already put us under his thumb. Now you're helping him put others, your own people, under his thumb. We're living without any assurity of our lives. That's a curse. I want you to understand the damage that you're doing. The oppressor doesn't care if you kill your brother. You're doing what he wants you to do. He's in that 2-for-1. If you kill your brother, guess what he then does? Well, he takes you to jail, and then there's one nigga that's dead. But guess what? Sometimes he might let you stay out. And guess what you'll do? You'll kill another one. And you'll kill another one. And you'll kill another one. You do the job for the oppressor. This class is to you, black man. This class is to you, Hispanic man and Native Indian man. This class is to Israel. I want you to understand that it's time to come out of her. Come out of this bitch. Come out of America. Come back into these laws, statutes, and commandments. Understand these streets aren't loyal to you. But I'm going to talk to you about some of the brothers in this rap game who the streets aren't loyal to. Because that's the premise of talking about this rap music. At one point, how it was positive. Then it turned into rappers who they really didn't do anything, and then felt like, oh, I need to get some street cred. So then they decided, okay, now I'm going to be a thug because they wanted to get street cred. Go ahead, Op.
What you bring out is so heavy. It makes me think about something from General Yahanna had said a while back about music. You know, like you just said, it was peaceful. It wasn't nobody trying to hurt nobody. It was getting a message out. And now it's, about violence. You know what I'm saying? The music industry is ran by homosexuals. And if anybody knows anything about homosexuality, really true, we know that homosexuality is violence against your brother. You know what I'm saying? So that homosexuality spirit of violence against your brother is being poured over into the music of what these folks call hip hop. You know what I'm talking about? It has influenced, it has made its way inside of the hip hop culture through the music, because the homosexuals right, and we know they are violent towards one another.
Right. You're exactly right. So this right here is right up their alley. This is what they want, and we're doing it. We're easy. We're like the rap music is like sheep led to the slaughter. We hear it, and then all of a sudden, what do? We have that evil eye towards our brother. We see him, and we automatically feel hostility towards him. We automatically want to act like we're the hardest, like we're the toughest. You ain't shit. That's what you are. Right. Until you come into this truth, until you come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, You're not even a man. You're barely a boy. You're a child who hasn't put away childish things. I didn't become a man until I came into this truth, until I understood what it was to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, until I understood what it was by following this law to actually love my brother. Because loving your brother, loving your sister, those are actions. It's not a feeling like the Christian church teaches you. It's an action. It's something that you do. How do you love your brother? You forgive him. You forgive that brother when he steps on your shoe. You forgive that brother when he bumps into you. You forgive that brother if he says something to you that you don't like. But we don't get into all those things because this right here requires the law. This right here requires someone who can stop and think and not react in his emotions like a bitch. It requires a G to do these things. It requires a gangster to come up in here and follow these laws, statutes, and commandments and go through what you're going to go through. It requires a real man to say "Khan out of one Khan" to another man. It requires a real man to say "Yes, Lord, yes" to another man. To call that man Lord. It takes a man to do that. You don't do that out here in these streets. Understand what I'm saying? You don't do that in these streets. Now, I'm going to go ahead and continue. I want all of us on the phone in the class, those of you who are watching, I'm going to bring up some rappers who are, unfortunately, they're no longer with us. But I'm going to show you how these streets aren't loyal, how the streets weren't loyal to them. If you ask, let's say the rapper who just died here in Atlanta, if you ask Trouble, were the streets loyal to him? No. The streets weren't loyal to him. His status and him being a rapper didn't stop him from being murdered. Now, I don't know all the details surrounding what happened with him and the brother who took his life, but I can tell you this: the penalty for adultery is death. And understanding that adultery is when you sleep with another man's wife, that's the penalty. That is the penalty for it. Now, if we look at our music, the rap music, it glorifies it. Every single song is about, I'll take your bitch. I'll do this to your bitch. Your bitch this, your bitch that. She wants to do this to my rod. I'm going to do this to her ass. That's all you hear. It's borderline homosexual, but it's adultery as well. There's nothing hardcore about it. Stop and listen to what it is you're saying. You want to run up behind another man and get where he's been. And guess what? The penalty for that is death.
Right.
Trouble can't answer for that now because he's already answered. He's no longer with us. He was a rapper. He glorified these things. If you listen to his music, he went in about it. He went in about many things. But tonight, what you're going to do is you're going to understand that the rap that we listen to, that the music that you listen to, if it is not UPK, if you're listening to it in these streets, it glorifies breaking the laws of God. There is no music out there when it comes to the trap music or drill music that is glorifying the Most High. Everything about it goes against him. So if it all goes against him, let me ask you this. Why are we listening to it? Now, when I say why we're listening to it, it's not like watching the movie. It's not like something like that. When we're listening to this, we're getting something from it. Now, it can take us back to a time from which we used to live and certain things that we used to do for those that are in the truth. And then it can teach us and say, wow, I never want to go back to that. Then you have those who are still living it. And what it does is it produces more wicked thoughts. It keeps you in that frame of mind. It keeps you in that place to keep you doing what you're doing. So when you ask Trouble, were the streets loyal to him? If he were here now, he'd say no. If you ask Young Dolph, were the streets loyal to him? He's right now, you say no. He say no. If you ask Pop Smoke, if the streets were loyal to him, he'd say no. If you ask King Von, if the streets were loyal to him, he'd say no. All those rappers that I just named to you died in the last 5 years. Some in the last 2-3 years. Some within the last couple of weeks. You understand what I'm saying? I pray that you do. The goddamn music is no good. All it does is talk about killing. All it does is talking about stealing. All it does is talk about whoremongering, being a whoremonger. That's it. And how you can get money for this. How you can sell dope to your people like this. How many ways can you sell dope and sing about it? How many ways can you kill a brother and sing about it? How many ways can you come up and sing about it? We're listening to it, so you have to ask yourself, what's entertaining about it? You really need to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what's cool about killing your brother? So here's the next thing, and then I'm going to get into some scriptures. You got a lot of these niggas out here who claim to be for their people, but will go out there and kill their own people. You got a lot of these niggas who say Black Lives Matter, but will go out there and kill their own people. Now, we don't rock with Black Lives Matter because we know that that's a homosexual foundation. But understand this, you do have those who want to do something for blacks, who don't have the knowledge of what's going on, and they need to come into the UPK. But then some of these rap niggas, they'll claim to love their people, but you don't. Because the very same people you claim to love, you rap about killing them. You rap about selling dope to them. You rap about pimping them out. That's what you do. So what I want to do is find out what's the attraction to killing your brother. I want to understand, how is it manly to kill your brother? We're going to go into some things, and I'm going to show you tonight that it's not. I want you to understand that what all these men, these rappers that I have in common, is that rap game. Because it was a point where the rappers would come into the scene, and then they would say, okay, well, now I got to get some street cred. Now the rappers that are coming on the scene, they're actual killers. They have the street cred. So now what they have to do to keep it going, they have to kill more. So what's happening? The people who are watching them then have to do the same thing. The people that are watching them saying, okay, well, if King Von can do it, then I can do it. If Young Dirk or whatever Lil Durk can do it, then I can do it. Any rapper out there that's took another man's life and they rap about it, all the rest of them say, well, all I got to do is get me a body count up, and then I can do the same thing. Don't you understand what the oppressor is doing to you, you stupid nigga? Don't you understand it? He's using you to kill your own people, and then he's paying you. He's giving you, he's saying, you know what? I'm going to give you millions of dollars to continue to come out with this music. And while you're coming out with this music, guess what you're going to continue to do? Influence those out there to kill their brother. Influence those out there to kill their sister. That's what it's going to do. It isn't difficult. All you have to do is open your eyes and see what's going on here. But I want you to understand that. Go ahead, Op.
What you bring out is so heavy, you know what I'm saying? I was just talking about the music the other day, talking about people, you know what I'm saying? I just said good music was, it made me want to go make some baby.
Come on now.
You know what I mean?
Come on.
You know, all this violence and trying to hurt somebody and trying to kill on somebody, trying to sleep with somebody, won't bless unnecessary. You know, go get your own family, go get your own home, go get your own stuff, and do what you're supposed to do according to the law. And like, so much stuff in now.
That's right. There was a time, like, you know, we have that music that's called, it's that barbecue music. You might hear the Isley Brothers. You might hear Al Green. You might hear, who else? I know that y'all, you know, Officer Barack, brothers on the phone, give me some more of that music that makes you want to get out there and have a sip with your brothers and sisters. Go ahead. There you go. There you go. Right.
They weren't trying to kill nobody. They were trying to, they were trying to make the baby and give you the message of what's going on in the community. Marvin Gaye, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It was a social commentary. Now it ain't no social commentary. It's all about who can outshine this person or who can outdo this person. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. You want the music will create an atmosphere, and that atmosphere can either be good or it can be bad. If I'm sitting here chilling with my brothers and sisters and this shit we're cooking, we got some on the grill, I don't want to hear nothing about busting this nigga in the head and killing this nigga and doing whatever to this hoe and all that. I don't want to hear none of that.
Right.
Give me some of that old school music. Give me some good. I mean, hell, we could even say R&B of Jodeci. Now, understand this. I ain't talking about no simps like Boys to Men and all this type of stuff. I'm just saying, give me some good R&B, something that creates a vibe, something where some sisters come around and they feeling it, you feeling it, y'all having a good time. You're creating that certain vibe that you want. Because if go ahead,
What you just said is so heavy. So back in the day, even if you didn't sing, you know what I'm talking about, and you did rap, there were rappers that, you know, that catered to the women, you know what I'm saying? Main women, LL. You know what I'm talking about? It was so many different ways to express yourself without trying to hurt your brother. That, you know what I'm saying? Most High Christ for the I.S.U.P.K and learn this truth. But there's so many different ways to express yourself than trying to hurt yourself.
That's right.
Really hurting yourself.
That's right. Absolutely. If I hurt my brother, I'm hurting myself. I'm hurting my nation. And when you bring up LL Cool J, one of his albums that came out was one of my first rap tapes. And when you know, I'm not saying nothing, no simp stuff, but this didn't make me want to go and bust a nigga in the head when he came out with I Need Love. Now that right there might be too much for some of y'all. But LL Cool J had a song called I Need Love. He said, when I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall, and in the back of my mind I hear my conscience call, telling me I need a girl who is sweet as a dove. For the first time in my life, I see I need love. Now, that right there is some LL Cool J. He was flowing back then. And when he was talking about, hey, yeah, there's a female and that's what I want. I want that. Guess what? That's what I want. I want a sister. I want someone soft that I can go to. Someone soft who I can go home to or can come to me. Not about, I'm about to go shoot this nigga right here and take his shoes. Or I'm about to go shoot this nigga and, you know, make his body wet. Or whatever hell that these niggas are saying today. And we're going to get into some of these lyrics. So I'm glad you brought that up with LL Cool J. Because he was one of those rappers that, you know, he would talk about stuff. But you would have to listen to what he was saying. They were talking about something. Now, all it is a beat. And you have a beat that says, the beat goes in hard. Then you got a nigga coming in saying, I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do that to you. Ha, ha, ha. I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do that to you. Nigga, what is that? What is that? Well, let me continue. With all these men that I'm talking about and the music that they rap about, the streets weren't loyal to any of them. The majority of blacks and Hispanics listen to that type of music that it destroys us. It's about death, drug use, prostitution, adultery, and covetousness is what it is. But the laws of God teaches us to live. Now I asked for Baruch 4:1. Why don't you bring that out for me, Baba Kashab? Baruch 4:1. Read it when you have it.
The book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endures forever. All that they keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die.
All that they keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. If you leave this truth, if you leave the law, you're going to die. If you don't follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, death is waiting for you. But if you follow them, you will live. It's plain and simple. That's in the scriptures. And here's what I want to hone in on. The laws of God, I don't have the precept off the top of my head. If one of you do, you can pull it. But it says the laws of God aren't grievous. Paraphrasing, it's not grievous, meaning it's not difficult to do. But your Christian pastor has made it to where, oh, you can't follow the law. And I don't want to give too much to the Christian pastor tonight, because them dirty, dumb dogs are going to pay for what they've done, because blood is on their hands. Blood is absolutely on their hands. But I want you to understand tonight that the laws are not difficult. What it is breaking that thought process, breaking that system that you've been operating in. Go ahead, Op. Go ahead.
This is 1 John chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the
mean, come on. Come on. Keep his commandments. His commandments are not grievous, and they're not difficult. They aren't painstaking for you to do. What is it for you to not smoke dope? What is it for you to not sleep with your brother's wife? What is it for you to not murder another brother? What is it for you to not celebrate Thanksgiving? What is it for you to not celebrate Christmas? In all the pagan holidays, God gave us holidays to celebrate. He gave us blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to love. What more do you need? You don't need anything else. He gave me a family to live with. He gave me a family to love me. My brothers get together every single week. Every single weekend, I got a number of brothers that I can call. Every single weekend, there's a number of brothers at this school that are hanging out, talking to each other, taking a sip, eating good. We have awesome, wonderful, beautiful black sisters, Hispanic sisters, Native Indian sisters in this school that we can come and we can love, that we can enjoy, that we can be around in this truth. Why do I need anything outside of this? Why do you need anything else? That feeling that you want to have of being able to be around something that feels good, that's what you can have with your brothers and sisters in the I.S.U.P.K. under commanding Junior Yahanna. That you can have in this truth. Mawasar, Shalom, Lord Christ, like what's going on?
Shalom, Lord Christ. Not much, everything's 2 hours, sir.
Excellent, good to hear you. You got any comments, anything you want to bring out?
Nah, sir, I'm just checking in.
Excellent. Do you have your sword with you?
I'm okay.
Excellent. Be ready to read when I call out the verse. The water.
I'm okay.
Go ahead, Ak. Yahbashim Yahshabrakatah. What's going on, warrior? Tawab?
Yeah, I'm Tawab. I don't want to
I'm Tawab. Look, I'm excellent right now because I'm in the presence of one of my brothers, Officer Barakiala. I'm on the phone with awesome brothers right now, and I'm teaching my people, so I couldn't be better. Hold on, we got a voice that I haven't heard in a call in a minute. If I'm not mistaken, Shalom Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakatah. Is that Officer Yakazakala? Well, Shalom, Lord Christ, word, what's going on?
Shalom, Yahweh
Not to. I'm Tawab. You got anything you want to bring out?
If I could, so I had this scripture, Romans 12 and 10.
Bring it out.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 10. Be kindly affectionate to one another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another. You know, what you were bringing out about the rap song. And then when you see everything that these brothers doing in the world, it just ain't, they not preferring one another. They don't know what brothers do. But in the I.S.U.P.K, this is what we do. We show what brothers do.
Damn right.
This is what this scripture right here is here. You know, and what you bringing out today is here. You know, these rappers, they ain't doing nothing good for the community by bringing out this music. Nothing but witchcraft.
That's right. That's right.
That's all I had to say.
That's right. The water for that out, and you right. When you talking about the witchcraft is in that dope that they talking about, that they selling, that they doing. We understand that, and I'm gonna get into that. But the water for that precept, the water for that. Trooper Bashan, was that you who chimed in? Go ahead.
I wanted to I wanted to see who you use 2 Timothy 3 and 13 as a precept, like you rappers.
Let's see. Go ahead and bring it out.
This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3, verse 13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Meaning, like, you know how these rappers sign these, multi-billion-dollar, contract. They had to go into the hood to really get the, to really allow people to put their words out, pretty much to go along with what their kingdom is, how they pretty much making money, all the wickedness that these brothers saying rap about doing to one another, you know what I'm saying? And they pretty much being deceived, and they deceiving the public.
absolutely, you can use that as a precept because that's exactly what they're doing. You know, not only are they deceiving the people, they're deceiving themselves, but also deceiving the people, and they're doing a damn good job of it. Unfortunately, that's an excellent precept. The water for that out. You know, as I continue to go into this, and after the brother brought out Baruch 4:1, it's simple when it said if you keep the law, you live, and if you don't, you die. And what I'm going to do is prove tonight that the music, as I've said, goes against the laws of God. It teaches you how to die. Guess who else? Who else teaches us how to die? Who else promotes death that we're very close to? I want to see who can get this. Who promotes death and teaches us how to die? Somebody on the phone. Go ahead. Absolutely. It's the Christian church. The Christian church teaches you how to commit suicide. The Christian church teaches you how to die. What did the Christian church teach you? That the law, statutes, and commandments are done away with. But clearly in Baruch 4:1, it tells you if you keep the law, you live. But if you don't keep the law, you die. So the goddamn Christian pastors that are teaching you that if you follow the law, you're going to die. If you follow the law, you're going to sin. What is his name? Creflo Dollar. He said Satan wants you to follow the law because he knows you're going to sin. Nigga, please. He wants you to follow the law because he knows you will sin. What type of stupidity is that? Because guess what? If these brothers, Young Dolph, if these brothers, King Von, if these brothers, Trouble, were following the laws of God, guess what? Today they'd be alive. Right now they'd be alive. But unfortunately they aren't. And it's so heavy bringing it out with this Christian church because I'm going to go into something with Young Dolph. Young Dolph was a Christian. Oh yeah, he loved the Lord. He was led by his faith. And we're going to get into that. What I want you to understand is that unfortunately the cats that murdered Young Dolph, they weren't keeping the law. And he wasn't keeping the law. So as we go into the topic about these streets ain't loyal, but the laws of God are, someone bring out for me Exodus 20 and 13. Exodus 20 and 13. Babakashah. Mawasar. Go ahead.
Exodus 20 and 13. Thou shalt not kill.
Now, we understand that this is the law. But what I want you to understand is that here in the I.S.U.P.K, there are no other scholars of the Bible that can break down to you what these scriptures should and are to say. Now, in this scripture, in Exodus 20 and 13, when it says, thou shalt not kill, it actually should say, thou shalt not murder. Because if you are killing let's just say you're killing an animal so that you can eat, that's not unlawful. That's lawful to do that. So when it says thou shalt not kill, if you watch the general speak, General Muhammad in particular, he broke this down and let you know that this right here was something that should have been thou shalt not murder, because there's a time to kill. Now there's never a time to murder. Understanding that to kill something and to murder are two different things. You understand that? I hope that you do. So when it comes to thou shalt not murder, that's a law. What you're going to find out is that all of these brothers that I'm talking about have all been murdered. They were all killed by another black man. And when I say killed, they were murdered. Their life was taken. Young Dolph's life was taken. So when we're looking at that, the verse applies to every brother that I'm speaking of that I've talked about. When we're looking at Young Dolph, Trouble, Pop Smoke, King Von, they were all murdered. Someone murdered them. Someone who wasn't following the law, statutes, and commandments murdered these brothers. And these brothers weren't following the law, statutes, and commandments themselves. So death was the outcome for how they were living. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test you on your on your thug music knowledge, so to speak. That's what I'm going to do, because I can tell you now, I don't really listen to a lot of this garbage. But for the sake of this class, I want to bring some things out so that you can understand what's actually being said and know what you're actually listening to. Let me see here. Bear with me for one moment. Let's see. Go ahead, Op.
You said you were talking about Young Thug, right?
Actually, I haven't even gone into Young Thug. I'm actually talking about Young Dolph at the moment.
Oh, you talking about Dolph? Somebody got to wonder about me say something about Dolph.
Absolutely.
What's so heavy about that Dolph thing is that, you know what I'm saying, a coward, you know what I'm saying, really has no idea about who people are when they do things. They just do it out of just because of whatever. Dolph was one of those people in his community that was giving back to the community because he was rapping. That rap money that he was getting, he was turning that into other things, and he was giving back to his people. So when you kill people like that, you're taking away, it's like you're hurting yourself. You know, you wouldn't take the damn hand out and fight the arm. You see what I'm saying? So
I mean, you're right in a sense, but let me take you a step further when you say giving back to his community, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to get into what he was giving back. Just like you take the movie New Jack City, when you saw Nino Brown out there giving the turkeys to all the people, they coming up and he's handing out whole turkeys. Here you go, here you go. Not only is he giving out turkeys, but he's also giving out dope. The same community that he was giving the turkeys to is the same community he was selling drugs to. So he was a witch. The scripture says, I suffer not a witch to live. We're going to get into that. But he was selling dope to his people and also giving away turkeys. Well, guess what? Thanksgiving is pagan. It's pagan.
Right.
So at the end of the day, when you take Young Dolph, and I'm going to get into those things, he was giving back to his community, but what was he giving? Was he giving them truth? Was he giving them knowledge? No, he wasn't giving them knowledge. He was actually giving them death. So yeah, his community loved him because they were getting things from him. So the community loved him, but guess what? They weren't loving him in spirit and in truth. He wasn't giving in spirit and in truth. That's what he's supposed to be doing. But he couldn't do that because guess what? He wasn't following the law, statutes, and commandments. Go ahead, Papa Lot. Hey, that's heavy. That's heavy because what you're bringing out is basically saying, okay, you're giving them something for the moment. You're doing a good deed so that they can eat for a day or two. But what are you doing so they can continue to eat? That's heavy what you're bringing out because that's what the Christian church does. The Christian church comes out on seasons. Oh, it's Thanksgiving? Let us go give some turkeys. Oh, it's Christmas? Let us go give some gifts. Oh, it's Halloween? Let us go have trunk or treat. They only come out on pagan holidays to do a little something, something. But when you look at the I.S.U.P.K. and what we do, there are no off days. Let me say it again. There are no off days in the I.S.U.P.K. We are priests and prophets of the Lord, and we operate 365 days of the year. There are no off days. There's no time we say, you know what? Well, it's this season. Let us stay home. Well, it's this season. Let us go out. Now, there are certain protocols that may keep us in due to things that may harm us because we're no good if we are harmed, if it's too hot or if it's raining or what have you. But to go out and say, okay, well, here, I'm going to give this to you now. And then you disappear and we don't see you again for the next season. That's not what we do here in I.S.U.P.K. It's all about doing good deeds. That's what it is when it comes to the Christian church. When it comes to these niggas who want to go out and give some. You know why? Because I was one of those niggas. I was one of the ones who started my own ministry. And I went out there and said, you know what? I'm going to give water to those out here because it's hot outside. I'm going to give clothes to those out here because they don't have any clothes. Here's the thing. I had the zeal, but I had what? No knowledge. I thought that I loved the Lord, but I knew nothing but the water. Yahweh Shai for commanding Yahanna and their I.S.U.P.K. Because had it not been for them, I wouldn't understand what I was doing at the time was wrong, but now I can do it in spirit and in truth. Oh, goodness. Salaki, just one moment. Shalom, Christ, I don't want to cut on concert. Come on, concert. Just myself and Brock Ellis, sir. Come on, concert. All right. Come on, concert. Lord Christ. So like it now, as I was saying, myself, I was out there doing these things that were, I guess you could say I was full of zeal, but had no knowledge, had no understanding. It took coming into this truth before I was able to do so, before I was able to understand who I was supposed to be doing it for and why I was doing it. Now, before I veer too far off into those things, to keep ourselves on topic with what's going on with these brothers in this rap music, I want you to understand that there's a spirit behind what they do that pushes them to continue to drive this drug-infested, killing type of attitude into our people, into our nation, into our folks, and destroy the homes. The thing that does that is their want for money. Think about it. If I tell you I'm going to give you this $15 million signing deal or bonus to make this type of music, guess what you're going to do? You're going to make that music. You're going to continue to push that same type of music. You're not going to change it up and say, you know what, I'm going to do this now. No, what got you the deal is what you're going to do. So if promoting death is what got you the deal, guess what you're going to continue to do? You're going to continue to promote death. So, what up? Go ahead. Oh, indeed. And as you see, once I go ahead and continue in these classes, in these different scriptures and breakdowns of who these brothers are and what happened to them, you're going to see that they did reap what they sowed, unfortunately. But this class is for those who are watching right now, who have the ability to make that decision to say, you know what, let me stop doing this because I've been living that type of life. Let me go and find out what these brothers are talking about because I want to live. Because I can tell you right now, I can look at Facebook and some of the cats that are in the world that are on my page, they're making these rap videos with their phones and they're standing around with their guns in their hands talking about they waiting on this person to do this, they're waiting on this person to do that. But guess what? No one has said anything about George Zimmerman. Now, when I say that, understand this, I'm not talking about going and do anything to this man. What I'm saying is you're waiting to destroy your own people. But you got oppressors who kill us every goddamn day and there's nothing you do about it. Nothing at all. Go ahead, Op. Somebody on the go ahead. Ephesians 5 and 5. I might have been bringing that one out. Go ahead and bring that out.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 5. For this ye know, that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor a covetous man, who is an idolater, have any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of the Most High.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're exactly right. I was actually going to bring that precept out and we're going to get to it, but I have to watch you for that because it goes with it. You think that it's cool to be a whoremonger? I mean, I'll put it to you like this. When I was younger, growing up in Chicago, for those of you who know who Bishop Don Juan is, before I go any further, does anyone know who Bishop Don Juan is? Okay, Mawasar obviously knows. Who else? Go ahead.
He's a magic one. He's the one that had the woman out there tricked out. He turned into a preacher now.
Right. He didn't turn into a different type of pimp. So he went from. Go ahead.
He was the first black leprechaun I ever know.
You're exactly right, because all he did was wore green and gold. Now I'm gonna pimp y'all. I'm gonna give y'all to something. I'm gonna pimp y'all to something real quick. Growing up in Chicago, where I lived, we had this game that we played, and some of you may know. We had this game where we would say, "That's my car. That's my car." And where I lived in Chicago, there would be this green Cadillac Seville. Now, they don't continue to make the Seville now, but the Seville had this slope back, and it had like a wheel that was embedded into the trunk. And boy, that was the sharpest of the Cadillacs. And it was green, and it had the gold wheels, but it had what was it? You had your wire wheels on it, but it had the white walls on there, if y'all understand what those were. This car was Bishop Don Juan, and he would drive through where I lived. See, in the city, you don't live in neighborhoods or cities. I mean, you don't live in neighborhoods or subdivisions. You just live on a block. He would come down the block, and we would be waiting as I'm sitting on my steps, and I'd say, "Oh, that's my car." We'd be waiting to see Bishop Don Juan come through with that green Seville with the gold rims. That's my car. That's my car. So we would see that, and we thought, "Oh yeah, that was what it was. That was it. That was something big. That's what we wanted it to be." But guess what? That was nothing. Now this man's a preacher. But what was he? He was a whoremonger then. He was a pimp. The scripture says that there should be no whores of the daughters of Israel, of the daughters of Zion. We'll get into that. Because not only was he doing it then, and back then, that was what, 40 years ago for me, 35 years ago. Now the rappers are still talking about it, and they even praise him to this day. But now he's a preacher, so like I said, he's a different type of pimp. He's pimping the blacks and Hispanics now for a different type of reason. Because he calls himself, "Oh, now I'm a man of God." No, there is no men of God unless you're in the I.S.U.P.K. Understand that. There is no man of God. But I will. Anybody got anything they want to bring out?
Well, yeah, it's so heavy that you should say that, because that's the reason Snoop said that's why he had to stop dealing with Bishop Don Juan, because he said he was trying to pimp him.
I guess it was in his nature. He said, "I don't just pimp hoes. I'm gonna pimp niggas too." Go ahead, Doc.
A little unknown fact about pimps that they don't like to talk about. Those folks that be rapping about pimping and all this. Most of your pimps are homosexual. Just like Small just said about the Bishop and Snoop. You know what I'm saying? Pimp will sleep with a man to get that money. You know what I'm saying? That's his lifestyle. He about that bread. No matter what it is, however he gonna do it, whether he's robbing, selling dope, getting these women to trick out, or he's doing it himself. You know what I'm saying? Letting a little boy run up his back. He's the homosexual.
Now imagine that. Imagine that, and you're very right. You're very right about what you're saying. That's exactly what they are. This is exactly what they are. So to stay on topic, to stay on what we're talking about, before we go into some of these verses that these rappers give you, I want to ask you, why do we love evil? Now, I'm not asking the brothers in the class or on the phone, because you're in the truth. But why is it that these niggas out here in these streets, why do they love evil? Can someone tell me? Go ahead.
Two things. They love their lust to the world. And like BG said, him don't know no better.
This is true. They do love their lust. Mawasar, if you would, give me Proverbs 8 and 13, Baba Kasha. The book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 13. I'm gonna break down to you why we love evil. Why this music appeals to us. Proverbs 8 and 13. Read it when you have it.
Proverbs 8:13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil.
The fear of the Lord is to love evil.
To hate evil.
The fear of the Lord is to support evil.
To hate evil.
The fear of the Lord is to promote evil.
To hate evil.
The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. You hate evil. So guess what? Anything that goes against the laws of God, I hate it. Any music that goes against the laws of God, I hate it. Any music that promotes killing my people, I hate it.
Right.
It makes me sick to my goddamn stomach to listen to it. You're making millions off the death of blacks and Hispanics. And then you call yourself, oh, I'm going to give back to the community. And when I give back to the community, it's going to be some pagan shit. Get out of here. Read that verse again out. Proverbs 8:13.
Proverbs 8:13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil.
The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Now understand this. I don't hate my brothers. I don't hate my brothers. I hate what my brothers are doing. Understand this now. That's separate from your oppressor. We know how we feel about the oppressor. But my brothers, I don't hate them. I feel for them. It hurts me. It pains me to see what it is that they're going through, to see what it is that they're doing, to see that they're going to die without the knowledge, without the understanding of this truth. It makes me sick. If you would, I pull up, give me Psalms 97 and 18, Baba Kashab. Psalms 97 and 18. Read when you have it. Book of Psalms, chapter 97, verse 18. If I'm not mistaken, Psalm 97 and 18, Baba Kashab.
Psalms 97 goes to 12.
You know what? Try 16. What does it say? Oh, it says 12. Okay, try 10, Baba Kashab. Let me make sure that I got the proper one. Go ahead, read it.
Proverbs 97 and 10.
So like you know, that's Psalms. That's Psalms. Hold on, you said, ye that love the Lord hate evil. What is it?
Ye that love the Lord hate evil.
And what verse is that?
Psalms 97 and 10.
Oh, Salaki, excellent, excellent. Ye that love the Lord hate evil. Salaki for the misunderstanding. The scripture in itself tells you, ye that love the Lord hate evil. I hate evil. What's evil? Killing your brother. What's evil? Pimping your sisters. What's evil? Selling your people drugs. So I hate it. The Most High hates those things, so therefore I hate those things. Now, do I hate my brothers? No. My job is to bring my brothers into this truth. My job is to show my brothers that there's a better way, and that way is to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. So according to these scriptures, if you go back into Proverbs 8:13, if you fear the Lord, you hate evil. Well, I fear the Lord because the scripture lets us know that the fear of the Lord brings wisdom. My wisdom lets me understand and see the things that are evil and wicked and know that they are not good. So then once you go into the book of Psalms 97 and 10, it lets you know that if you love the Lord, you hate evil. Read that verse one more time for me, Baba Kashab.
Psalms 97 and 10. Ye that love the Lord hate evil.
Ye that love the Lord hate evil. Now, if you don't love the Lord, you don't hate evil. Well, guess what? No rapper today, unless he's in the I.S.U.P.K, no rapper today, unless he's in the I.S.U.P.K, fear the Lord. So guess what he does? He doesn't hate evil, he loves it. He's operating in it. Absolutely. I'm proving to you today that this music goes against the law, statutes, and commandments. If you aren't in the I.S.U.P.K, you're being led astray. This is the home of the truth. You hear this week in and week out. We prove that we are the home of the truth by giving you these scriptures and breaking them down to you in a way that no one else can, that no one else has the ability to. So what I'm going to go ahead,
I got one if I may. I was trying to think that we use the book of Romans chapter 13, verse 2 and verse 3.
He might be going to another one of my precepts. Let me see what you got. I'll go ahead.
This is the book of Romans chapter 13, verse 2. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of the Most High, and they that resist shall receive themselves damnation.
I mean, well, that right there is across the board. It doesn't have anything to do. It doesn't have to absolutely have anything to do with this topic. That's across the board. If you're resisting the Lord, you are an enemy of Him. That means you're going against Him. But this truth here that I'm bringing out to you is trying to help you to not resist it, to show you that, hey, here are the laws, statutes, and commandments. Here's the way that you're supposed to live. Here's what you need to do so that you can live. Outside of that, you can't. So, you can use that as a precept. You can. But that's across the board for everything. The water for that. So what I'm going to do now... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Can we read verse 4?
Go ahead.
This is the book of Romans chapter 13, verse 4. For he is the minister of the Most High to thee for good. But if thou do which is evil, be afraid. For he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of the Most High, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil.
I mean, okay. Breaking that down to the fourth, yes, you absolutely can use it. That, like I said, it is across the board for sin, the penalty of breaking these laws, statutes, and commandments. So absolutely. Once again, what's that? Let me write that down. What's that verse again?
The book of Romans chapter 13, verse 4.
You said 13 and 40?
4.
13 and 4, the water. Excellent. I appreciate that out. Now. Oh, okay, go ahead.
If I may just also to add to it, and a lot of you Christians that use that terminology, great, when they speak of grace and mercy, that's kind of what I was leaning toward, Father. Is, the minister of the Most High was Christ, and people that just don't realize when he come back, he's not bringing his sword in vain, you know what I'm saying? He's not bringing it back for nothing, and people that out here going and committing all these different things and whatnot, especially how we follow our wrestle, we take the ways and stuff like that. We got a lot of, Christians that are pretty much doing that doctrine.
Absolutely. I mean, following what you're saying, the scripture lets it be known that it says, when he comes back, think not that I come to bring peace, but a sword. Think not that I come to bring peace, but a sword. So he doesn't come and say, oh, well, guess what? I'm about to blow bubbles and kiss babies and hug niggas. No, he's coming to bring a sword. Understand what that means when he says, I'm coming to bring a sword. So you're correct. You're correct about that. Now, what I'm about to bring out now is some of these verses to show you, to prove to you that your rappers are going against the laws of God. And it's being promoted and being pushed by your oppressor. We're all grown here, so when I read these verses, you're going to understand what it is that's being said. Know that we don't own any rights to this music. This is clearly for teaching purposes. So what it says here is, she blew my whistle like a referee. Broke black nigga remember me until I found out that recipe, started getting about 10 a week. Now, I'll stop right there. When it says here, started getting about 10 a week, can anyone tell me what he was doing? Go ahead.
That's young dog. He was bringing him a lot of dope.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He was selling dope. And guess what? He wasn't selling that dope to the white folks. He was selling that dope to his people. Give me Exodus 22 and 18. Exodus 22. Go ahead, Doc.
What you just said is so heavy. You know what I'm talking about? And then what makes it so heavy is this dude named Chad Buck. Everybody know him. So he had said something back in the day. Talking about the fake dope prices and how these folks claiming to be drug dealers and this and that and selling all this dope. And ain't none of them sold no dope. But they just talk about it to you and your children, but they just gonna profit off of it. They gonna get the crumbs off the profit. You know what I'm saying? But they ain't doing none of that stuff that they rapping about. Them cats ain't. They're not street people like they say they want you to believe. They just doing they the puppeteers. They the puppets being controlled by the puppeteers that own those record labels.
I mean, absolutely. And that's one of the things that I'm bringing out. You have these rappers who never sold a gram of nothing. Ain't sold a piece of pocket lint. Nothing. And then they go out there and say, you know what? I need to go out there and get some street cred. So they go and do something stupid. And they get locked up for it. So they get some street cred. So you're bringing out my point. Now, Mawasar, give me Exodus chapter 22 and 18. Read it when you have it. Exodus 22 and 18.
God, Exodus 22 and 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
Now, when it says thou shalt not suffer a witch to live, a witch was a person who sold drugs. A witch was a person who made potions. And when it says thou shalt not suffer a witch to live, well, guess what? We finna bust that ass. You weren't supposed to live. And guess what it's gonna be? Guess what it's gonna be now? When you come under the law of the 144, when you come under the law of the meaning of I.S.U.P.K, when we're in our kingdom, understand this. You will not be selling drugs. And if you are, you'll find your end. Because here it clearly says, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Oh, nigga, you ain't gonna live. You're not gonna make it. You're not gonna continue to come out here and sell this dope to our people, which is destroying them. That's not what you're gonna do. So after he says that about, what is this? It says here, she blew my whistle like a referee. Go ahead, Op.
What you saying, you make some heavy points, you know what I'm saying? It just make me think about these boys talking about these selling the dope, giving these dope, these fake prices and everything. How they, you know what I'm talking about? It is not really, what they doing, they really don't understand what they doing. Because they'll tell you quick, I don't deal with no person, I don't like no person, this and that. But you selling goddamn dope, please cocaine. You know what I'm talking about? You selling goddamn dope guys and we do, you know what I'm talking about? Everything that you doing it to be oppressive.
You're exactly right. I mean, and that's we can go into a heavier class. We can go even deeper to show how the government pushed and peddled the dope into our cities, but that'd be for another class, and I might bring it up on the next one. But you're exactly right. I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna read this verse again. It says here, she blew my whistle like a referee. Broke black niggas remember me until I found out that recipe, started getting about 10 a week. Finger on the trigger when I sleep. Now, when it says here, finger on the trigger when I sleep, what is that? What is that showing you? What is he talking about when he says finger on the trigger when I sleep? Go ahead. Okay. Now, guess what? I'm gonna break that down to you and show you it's a curse. Mawasar, give me the book of 28 and 66. Deuteronomy 28 and 66. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and 66. When he says, my finger on the trigger when I sleep. 28 and 66, what does it say? Mawasar, you there?
I'm
Go ahead, read it when you have it.
Right, 2066. And thy wife shall hang her down before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life.
Now it says, and thy life will hang before thee. Your life will hang in the balance, and you will have no assurance of your life. So what it is saying is that you'll be thinking to yourself, at any moment I can catch one. At any moment I can get it. You know, when you hear a brother saying, I mean, I won't make it past 21, or I won't make it past 30. They're telling you that they have no assurance of their life, that they might die because of the way they live and or because of the oppressor. That's a curse. That's what that is. So what the scripture is letting you know, Salakia, let me go back. What this verse is letting you know is when he says to you that my finger on the trigger when I sleep, he has no assurance of his life. Why? Because he's living a certain lifestyle that could cause him to lose his life. There's something that he could possibly be doing that could cause him to get murdered because he's done something to somebody else. So he said, ain't nobody gonna catch me slipping. I'm gonna always keep my hand on the trigger. So there's no assurance of your life. That's not peace. You can't walk around and say that you have peace. You can't walk around and say you living your best life if you got to keep your hand on the trigger at all times. Now, in the truth, we keep our head on the swivel. We pay attention in the truth because we know we got niggas out here and these oppressors out here who would do anything. So righteously, if we got to do something, we'll be ready. We'll be prepared. But we aren't living in a life that causes us to have to wait in the balance, to doubt whether we may see another 24. But guess what? When you living like this, when you out there selling dope, guess what? You live in that life. You live in that life where today could be the day. Oh, I got down on this brother. I'll sold him this. Or he might want what I have, so he gonna come try to take it from me. So guess what? I got to always keep my finger on the trigger and be ready. Go ahead,
What you just said is so heavy, you know what I'm talking about. And you talking about the brothers getting killed about their money and their dope, right? A lot of times it's a black woman fight. You know what I'm saying? They kick the dad out the house to give the discipline. And then they raise up weak, effeminate, cowardice men, you know, little boys that turn into the same type men. And when they get out here in the world of age to be citizens in this world, they do exactly what their mama taught them to be.
Oh, absolutely. And we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about how these sisters are setting up simps. Sisters set up simps every single day. They set up simps every single day. A lot of these sisters are responsible for the death of many niggas. Because what do? They go and run their mouth. They go and say, oh, well, this, that, and the other happened. He said this and it don't make me feel good. Oh, I don't like what he said to me. So guess what? Go do something about it. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I need to be. But if we go back to the Kentucky 8, the Kentucky 8 was blazing when they were blazing. They were blazing, and what they did was they said some things that touched a whore to her core. So what did she do? She went back and told who she needed to tell, and these people came back. And when they came back, guess what? They came back because they decided we wanted to defend this whore's honor. But guess what? They couldn't defend the whore's honor because they went up against the priests and prophets. They went up against the priests and prophets who were trained to handle and deal and battle and break down niggas and whores who don't know what it is to go up against a priest and prophet. So what happened? They were broken. Shout out to the Kentucky 8. Understand that. Running your mouth because many females have been the cause of the death of many brothers. But in this school, these sisters gonna know to keep their goddamn mouth shut when they're supposed to keep their mouth shut. Outside of this school, they run their mouth all they want. They can do whatever they want, and guess what? They're gonna suffer the consequences. Go ahead, Op. Somebody has something to bring out? Salakia? All right, we'll continue. I'll continue with this verse. Start from the top again. She blew my whistle like a referee. Broke black nigga, remember me? Until I found out that recipe started getting about 10 a week. Finger on the trigger when I sleep. Yeah, nigga, I'd rather you than me. backseat smoking good weed. So when it says, yeah, nigga, I really you than me, backseat smoking that good weed, somebody give me Proverbs 16 and 27. Because he said, yeah, nigga, I really you than me, backseat smoking that good weed. Give me Proverbs 16 and 27. We're going to talk about that good weed you smoking. Proverbs 16 and 27 about the shot.
Proverbs 16 and 27. An ungodly man diggeth up evil, and in his lips there is as a burning fire.
Can anyone on the call right now tell me what this is talking about?
Smoking weed, sir.
Absolutely. An ungodly man diggeth up evil. And in his mouth what?
And in his lips there is as a burning fire.
That burning fire is that blunt he put in his mouth, making his lips purple, making his fingernails purple. That's what that is. So, as I was telling you, the scriptures are going to prove to you that the rap music goes against the laws of God. The laws of God gives us life. The rap music is killing us. Who's the rap music pushed by? Your oppressor, these fake Jews. Let us continue. It says here, as I go through, 100 shots, 100 shots. How the F you miss a whole 100 shots? Oh yeah, we gonna get back to that. You not welcome at my trap. If you don't shop before you come through the back door, you better knock. Let me read that again. You're not welcome at my trap. If you don't shop before you come through that back door, you better knock. Understand, I'm leading up to something. I'm showing you what he's saying here. It says here, I'm gonna continue. They've been waiting on this gangster-ish to drop. Even them F niggas that wish I could be stopped. How many dicks you sucked to get that couple million? Self-made millionaire, oh what a feeling. My niggas came from dealing. Now, let me see here. It says my niggas came from dealing. F nigga, get out your feelings. Your bitch gave me sexual healing. Now, the scripture right there just said your bitch, not the scripture, Salakia, the verse just said your bitch gave me sexual healing. Give me Exodus 20 and 14. Because what Young Dolph did was then just said that another man's wife, Rib, gave him sexual healing. Give me give me Exodus 20 and 14, Baba Shah. Exodus 20 and 14. Go ahead.
Exodus 20 and 14. Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Thou shalt not commit adultery. We understand that adultery when a brother sleeps with another man's wife, he has then committed adultery. Somebody on the phone tell me what is the penalty for committing adultery? What is the penalty for committing adultery? Go ahead.
Penalty for adultery,
Go ahead.
So what you just brought up, I want to tell him he said too.
Salakia, if you're saying something, you're breaking up. You said, I didn't hear you. Go ahead, say it again. Salakia, you there? Yawida. Let me try that again. Hold on a second, class. Salaki Akim, are you there? Okay, the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, but he ain't gonna stop this. Yahweh die. Go ahead and bring out what you're about to bring out.
So what I was bringing out was Deuteronomy 23 and 17. It says, "There shall be no more of the daughters of Israel, nor the sodomite of the sons of Israel." And if I may, that statement that Dolph made in that verse, you know what I'm saying? He did both of these in that one statement. He made that daughter of Israel a whore, and he became a sodomite because he said he put his rod in another man's bodily fluid.
I mean, come on. You're exactly right. And you know what? I was going to bring that out, but you know what? You brought it out, so we're going to get there to it. That's exactly what he was doing. That's exactly what he said. That's exactly how he was living. That's exactly what he thought about it. And he doesn't even realize it. He had no knowledge of what it was that he was saying. But everybody else who was listening to him, boy, they thought he was bringing out some hot stuff. They thought he was dropping straight fire. But we're going to continue. Let me see, where was I at? It says here, give me Leviticus 20 and 10. We're gonna bring that out too. Leviticus 20 and 10.
So what, Yahanna?
Go ahead.
Can we also use Exodus 20 and 17?
What does it say?
Exodus 20 and 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife.
You absolutely can. Excellent precept. Because what is he doing? He is coveting his neighbor's wife, and the neighbor is the brother. He wants his brother's wife. So when he says, "I did this to your wife," when I did this to your woman, I did this to your bitch, what he's telling you is, yeah, I got your wife. So he's coveting her. So not only is it homosexual, but it's also adultery, and it's also being covetous. And ultimately, if you look at it, being covetous leads to so many things. It leads to pretty much a plethora, all this garbage that our brothers and sisters do, especially when it comes in this rap game. That's what happens. So excellent precept for that. We're going to keep it moving. Go ahead. Like I said, give me Leviticus. Go ahead, Adawan.
I was about to say, a lot of they go over people's head, especially in the world, because that become, what they say, the culture. The rap culture is like it's so commonplace to rap about sleeping with another man's woman, but that's really the laws can't be broken. So that's really leaving the sheep to the slaughter.
Absolutely.
You started with Pop. That's why F.U.P. You know what I mean?
Right.
In fact, you know what I mean?
Right.
That was the beginning of the end right there.
Right. Let's go on back, like what Adawan just said. Also, Brock Ella just brought out. I mean, you can go back to Pac. Everybody loved Pac, this, that, and the other. But what was Pac talking about? Pac was talking about how he hooked up with Faith Evans, which was Biggie's wife. But he was talking about how he hooked up with her. That wasn't brotherly. But guess what? Pac was supposed to be this man of the people. But nigga, guess what you were doing? You were sleeping with your brother's wife. These laws, statutes, and commandments are the truth, but this rap music is a lie. It's designed to destroy our people. Understand that. Give me Leviticus 20 and 10. Leviticus 20 and 10. Read it when you have it.
Leviticus 20 and 10. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, and the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death.
He shall surely be put to death. Well, guess what? I'm gonna touch on this brother for 1 second. The rapper Trouble, who just died. He was in the bed with another man's wife. And what happened? He was put to death. Were the streets loyal to him? Were the streets loyal to Tupac? Were the streets loyal to Young Dolph? Absolutely not. I'm proving the point with the scriptures. You niggas out here who thinking that this rap is something to be glorified, where you're talking about sleeping with another man's woman, where you're talking about killing your brother, it's actually killing your people. It's actually killing you. It's designed to make you die. Your oppressor is the person who has constructed this. His crafty counsel, so that the name of Israel is no more, is the reason why you're coming up with music that goes against the laws of God. I pray that you understand. I'm going to continue. Go ahead, Op.
Everything you just said is so heavy. You keep taking me back. That black woman that keep the man out that you want to go now. The tables were turned and the black household was still in order the way it's supposed to be under the Most High Christ. You know, all this stuff that's going on in this music and the way these people out here living, they won't be going on. So it'll be a more time for the men that do anything, even if they're in the truth or not. They got a reputation to hold with their name.
Absolutely. So now that you brought that out, go ahead and give me the precept for the strong man. Give me the precept for the strong man. You brought it out, give me the precept. I know we know what I'm talking about.
Mark chapter 3, verse 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods except he will first bind the strong man, then he will spoil his house.
Well, guess what? He has spoiled the house of the black and Hispanic man. Because what has he done? He has removed him. He has removed him from the house. So that's why you have OnlyFans. Come on now. That's why you have Hot Girl Summer. Come on now. That's why you have City Girls. Come on now. That's why you have these rappers who are rapping about killing their brothers. Yeah, now you understand. The scriptures prove the scriptures. The scriptures prove what is going on out in this world right now, today, each and every day amongst our people. Understand this. You're weak and you're a coward. As General Yahanna has said, we don't need a black man in a White House. We need a black man in every black house. Understand that. We don't need a black man as a president. We need a black man in every single house. And when we say black, I mean black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Be in the homes. So that you can teach these women which way to go. So that you can teach your women, your children which way to go. But the only way you can do that, the only way you can raise them up in the way they're supposed to go, is to come into this truth. To come back to your law, statutes, and commandments. To come into the I.S.U.P.K. That's what you're supposed to do. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to continue what we're talking about tonight. I'm going to bring out some more of the verse of Young Dolph. It says here, 100 shots, 100 shots. How the F you miss a whole 100 shots? You're not welcome in my trap if you don't shop. Before you come through, you better knock. Then it says, then be waiting on this gangster shit to drop. Even them F niggas that wish I could be stopped. How many rods you suck to get to that couple million? Self-made millionaire, oh what a feeling. My niggas came from Dillon. So when he says my niggas came from Dillon, we know what he's talking about. He's talking about dope. Then it says, F nigga, get out your feelings. You bitch gave me sexual healing. So we know what he's talking about when he's saying, yo bitch gave me sexual healing. Then he slept with another man's woman. We already brought that scripture out. Guess who just walked in the building? Come out with this 6 bitches. My uncle said that's pimping. His uncle said that's pimping. Well, guess what? Give me Ephesians 5 and 5. Baba Kashab. The book of Ephesians 5 and 5. We're going to see what his uncle was actually saying when he said that's pimping. Because I'm giving you the rapper Young Dolph's lyrics that everyone loved. Go ahead, Op.
I just know back in the day, growing up, people would, what's going on, depends on how you doing, depends on nigga in the third. Me knowing what that was back in the day, because I knew I had people to pimp in my family. So I knew what they were doing. So I would quickly tell them, like, please, don't call me. Don't just, because that is the most irrespective thing you call a person. A pimp, that works the same the F word to a homosexual. You know what I'm saying? Because a pimp would do any and everything. He did like that pig, he'll eat up any and everything. If you throw it out there, he's going to eat it up.
You're right, Up. But guess what? For those who aren't in the truth, although you understood what was being said, for a lot of those who aren't in the truth, when they hear, oh, he a pimp, that's a term of endearment for a lot of niggas. They're like, oh yeah, I'm a pimp. Yeah, I was doing this, that, this, that, and the other with these hoes. Not understanding that who they were dealing with, if you were black, dealing with black, Hispanic, and Native Indian sisters, you were pimping them out, and the scripture tells you clearly that it's against that. So you're right. Give me Ephesians 5 and 5. Ephesians Chapter 5, verse 5.
Okay. Ephesians 5 and 5. For this ye know, that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man, who is an adulterer, hath any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of God.
I mean, hold on. So, okay. So he said no whoremonger or covetous person. Well, we already know. We talked about them coveting, going, wanting another man's woman. But this mug said whoremonger. Somebody give me the definition of a whoremonger. Definition of whoremonger, Baba Kashab. Read it when you have it. Go ahead.
A whoremonger, a person who has dealings with prostitutes, especially a sexually promiscuous man.
Now, it's talking about a sexually promiscuous man. A man can be, how can I put it? He can go out there, he can do what he wants to do with a woman, but he has to understand that when he sleeps with her, that's his wife. So we can bump off the whole sexually promiscuous man, but when it's saying dealing with prostitutes, that's what a whoremonger is. So Ephesians 5 and 5 is telling you, hey, you're not supposed to be a whoremonger. The scriptures let you know, as you brought out earlier, Yahweh, that there should be no whores of the daughters of Zion. The daughters of Zion are who? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So the music that we listen to, what does it do? It promotes prostitution. It promotes whoremongering. This music that we listen to promotes going against the laws of God. And who pushes it? Your oppressor. Oh, I'm going to bust your head tonight, Israel. I'm going to let you know that the garbage that you're listening to is killing your people. Go ahead,
What you just brought out is so heavy. When they make that rock and roll music, they ain't talking about it for the kill nobody. When they make that country music, they ain't talking about they finna damn going to sleep with nobody home. You know what I'm talking about? Whatever they do, they try to the oppressive nation. They're not trying to do any harm to each other because they already know they kingdom followers. But us, on the other hand, we got to be the biggest, the biggest evil doer on the planet in order to feel like we are accepted to my people.
You're absolutely right. We got to go above and beyond with everything. You're absolutely right. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go into the chorus. I won't say chorus. I'm gonna go into the hook of what Young Dolph was saying here. It says 100 shots, 100 shots. How the F you miss a whole 100 shots? 100 shots, 100 shots. How the F you miss a whole 100 shots? Well, guess what? These are all lyrics by rapper Young Dolph. And guess what? Young Dolph was shot 22 times. Young Dolph was shot 22 times. It didn't take 100 shots this time, did it? In real life, Young Dolph was shot 22 times. And it took his life. So when he says in his lyrics, 100 shots, 100 shots, how the F you miss a whole 100 shots, it didn't take 100. 22 took his life. He died without the knowledge. He left behind children. He left behind a wife. He left this world not knowing the truth. His life was taken, just like the life that he lived, it was taken from him. They didn't miss that time. Go ahead, Op.
And in reality, actually, it wouldn't even take that many. It would even take one bullet to the head.
I mean, this is true, but it's where, if you've heard the saying, where, what is it? How do they say it? Where art meets reality, or something like that along those lines, where life imitates art. That's what it is. So this music is supposed to be art, which is not. It's garbage. But what happened was him saying 100 shots, 100 shots. How the F you miss 100 shots? Well, 22 got him. Like you said, one could have killed him, and one probably did kill him, but he took 22 of them. So the very same thing that he rapped about is the very same way he met his demise. But what do? We glorify rap. We glorify the death of our people. But here's what's crazy. while you're listening to his music and buying all of his music where he's glorifying drug dealing and killing his people and prostitution, did you glorify his death? Ooh, think about that. You didn't glorify his death. Memphis loved him. But were the Memphis streets loyal to him? As I said, these streets ain't loyal. Were the streets loyal to Memphis? Or were the streets loyal to Young Dolph? Absolutely not. They weren't loyal to him. And he found out. But let's take it a bit further. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The streets ain't loyal. When you the streets ain't loyal, that is a true statement. Because even if the capo found out that the streets ain't loyal, you know what I'm saying? Even them, what that one name, Freeway Ricky Rock found out that the streets ain't loyal. What that one name is out of New York, over the gangster disciple. All these guys found out the streets ain't loyal. You know what I'm saying? They got their identity taken, stolen. You know what I'm saying, by the oppressors, by making movies to others. Then you got these so-called gangster rappers taking their identities and portraying a persona that they are not, you know what I'm saying, and it's really devastating our community.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And for the sake of the time that we're in, I'm going to end the class right here, but there's going to be a part 2. And I'm letting you know that the part 2 of this class is going to be Salakia. These streets ain't loyal, surviving the game. And when I say surviving the game, I'm going to go into the brothers that are in this truth, who lived in these streets, who did these things that these rappers are rapping about and glorified them, but now are in the truth, and now they have survived this game. Now they can teach you the truth. And I'm one of those brothers who is here, who survived the game and teaching you the truth. So with that, I'm going to pass the class over to priest and officer and prophet Barak Yah.
Excellent class. Shalom Israel. We'll do the security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. Started off 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Room for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They'll be saluted only. They're here to share themselves with the world. They need transportation. The teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, comes out of Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means 10th in the Hebrew, Ma'ashra. 10% of any increase the Lord gives you give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Holy Convocations we got coming up. We just had the first fruits. We just had the first fruit. So that next one is memorial blowing of the trumpets. That's going down September 25th, which is on a Sunday. You know what I mean? Tap in with one of the officers or social media on how to congregate with us to celebrate the Most High Holy Days. A reminder for any brothers that want to join the school, start prospecting. Coming all black. That's including boots, shirts, pants, headbands, scarves. Get with one of the officers to find out our camp locations and what time we're going to be there. And with them in Israel, arise, Major. We get a courtesy salute to the teacher. Major Shabbat, Major, Barak, Yahanna, 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 Hands down, class is missed.